drag, yo? She don't wanna work on
KBLA Talk 1580. Okay, the phone line's open, 800-920-1580. You heard something you like, you heard something you do not like. Let's talk about it, 800-920-1580. You're also welcome to jump in the YouTube chat. It's KBLA 1580 at youtube.com. And we are also streaming on Facebook as well. So I'd love to hear from you. I wanted to ask you, Miles, because I didn't get, the 3 Drake albums dropped at midnight, and I'm not staying up to midnight to listen to 3 Drake albums when I have to be at work at 6. I did listen to some of it this morning while I was getting ready. Not enough to really have a sense. I did do a little bit of doom scrolling, but I think my algorithm skews, I know my algorithm skews West Coast. So what are what's your response? You said you went to a listening party for Drake?
Yeah, one of my friends, they were having at the house, just had to stream it and kind of like some commentary on a little podcast they were streaming live on. So that was dope. My take on, I only heard the first album. I didn't hear the other 2. I heard the Iceman.
The Iceman, yeah.
Yeah, gave that one a good look. It's Drake, you know what I'm saying? Like, I came into it expecting to hear Drake. I didn't have a biased view going into it. So I like nice bits of it. I don't think it was the depth that a lot of people were looking for in a lot of places. But it's Drake. It's hit music. It's good rap. He is a good rapper. He addressed his little beefs. He's got his ego has been charged up because people have been doubting him. You got his doubters and haters again, and ops he can talk about, and people wanted him to trying to end his career. So yeah, I mean it's typical Drake music, but it's not bad at all in my opinion. Okay, a lot of them are stuff I think is gonna have to grow on me in the long run, but off the first listen, it's some good rap.
Every single album ever has to grow on me. Like, I just hardly ever automatically fall in love with something. I have to hear it a few times, especially with rap. But it's, to me, and I'm not an expert on any of this kind of stuff, but I feel like this thing about surprise album drops and stuff, to me, that's Beyonce, right? She's the one that really got people doing stunts like that, at least on that level, on that high level of sales and visibility. The 3 album drop is a pretty serious statement, though, right?
That goes back to the fact that I believe Drake is trying to go the independent route. I think this is a ploy to get out of the label deal with Universal, or at least get them to renegotiate with them for sure. Yeah, it's about 40, 45 tracks between all 3 albums that he dropped yesterday.
So does that mean that if he had 3 more albums left with them, for example, he'd be done?
Done, son.
But we don't know what his deal looks like, or do you?
I'm not sure. I can probably do some research and look it up.
But it can't be too many more than 3.
Pardon me?
It can't be too many more than 3 that he owes.
Yeah, because he already dropped the one he had last year with no key on it. You had for the dogs before the beef really kicked off. So he might be out of might be out of the deal. Might have filled his obligation. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the intent of it. I'll be like how Tupac did to try to get out of the Death Row label as early with his first 2 hours, making it a double album with All Eyes on Me. So yeah, I'm not mad at it. So
it's Iceman, Habibti, and Maid of Honor. Those are the 3 album titles, right?
Yep. And they all got their own little own aesthetic to it. The Iceman's more of him on his his typical Drake rap tip. You got one on kind of like his R&B singing tip, and then one for like for the ratchets, for the the baddies and all that. So yeah, like I say, it's Drake's entire the hard drive of Drake for the last 2 years, pretty much what you got.
Well, I mean, I'm not mad at it. The whole thing is that it seems like the perfect time. I don't see something really dominating right now in terms of in terms of charts and stuff. It's kind of like it's almost summer. Yeah. It's time for Drake to come back and dominate with the club cuts and the summer bops and stuff, but what I heard, and I only heard a little bit. It sounded pretty serious.
Yeah, and I'm glad he had a track on there with Future. Him and Future got back together and are working. 'Cause that's where the whole beef kind of kicked off, was on the Future and Metro song, honestly. So, if you're a fan of the Future Drake collab, that'll give you a little nostalgia. Yeah, I mean, it's if you listen to Drake for the little pettiness, to hear like kind of who he's kind of sneak dissing or slyly, talking about. So nobody's safe, from the podcasters to the rappers to the politicians to the NBA players. Like, everybody got a straight. DJ Khaled got a straight for some Palestine stuff in there.
That I did see that, and that was I thought that was dope, though. I'm not gonna lie.
I'll take it.
He said, "Your people still waiting for that free Palestine."
He been quiet. Like I said, that's great that Drake is actually, like I said, Drake's not the. Remember how we talked before? I think like J. Cole, out of his album, he kind of would say something and like hit the surface of it, but he's not gonna get in there and get the specifics. I applaud Drake for doing that. That's his type of bravado that he raps with. So that's a part I like about it.
Do we take that as Drake saying free Palestine, though?
Not at all. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying
I'm just curious, because he's calling out Khaled for not saying it. Does that mean he's actually endorsing it?
No, I think he's just saying, Khaled, you've been quiet, Khaled. Like, where's you're Palestinian, Khaled.
No, I mean, I understand that reference, but he's still saying free Palestine on his album.
Yeah, I mean, maybe so, but I don't never know Drake to be that deep of a political person myself on that tip.
No, not at all. Yeah, well, like I said, I can't tell from my algorithm. My algorithm is probably more skewing West Coast, and people are calling it trash, and saying that he's just confirming what Kendrick Lamar said about him.
I don't know about that. I don't know if he confirmed anything that Kendrick was saying. I think that it's layers to it, it's levels to it, and Drake is still proving he's a prolific artist. He dropped 3 albums in one day, man, and hit all the bases of your core fan base.
That's insane to me. I mean, that to me, say what you want to say. The man's been working. The man's definitely, unless it really is trash, and from what I heard, it didn't sound like it, but like I said, I only heard a few songs because I only started this morning when I woke up.
And I only heard the Iceman. I haven't heard the other 2 all the way through. Honestly, off my first little glance on the first song or 2, I wasn't necessarily my speed, but the one that was my speed, you hit your mark on that one, Drake. Not gonna lie, off the first listen. Listener to it.
Okay. Well, it's going to be a Drakey kind of summer for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Because now, who else is who's going to compete now?
Right.
Who's up next?
J. Cole has his album out.
Cole drop.
But I don't know. Somebody might, but I can't think of. It seems like a wide open lane, is what I'm saying.
I think so too. But
right now.
But we're seeing nobody's been charting like that. Everybody's been falling off the chart. So if you're into the chart game and the industry standard of what hip hop is turned into, we might have an interesting summer with Drake on top again. We'll see.
We shall see. And I think it's great when people can let go of their beef and move on.
You can let go of the beef?
I know. I'm projecting into the future.
Okay.
I know that nobody's let go of any beef, because there was all that sort of giddy reporting when Kendrick took down Not Like Us and stuff like that a couple days ago, and then a couple hours later he just re-uploaded it. So I thought, well, maybe they're gonna come to the table. Iceman's coming and he's taking down these records, but no,
you still got
not at all. I'm on the peacenik tip,
Right, yeah.
I'm hoping Ukraine ends the war and the war in Iran ends, and the Drake and Kendrick can, somehow make, move on, be grown.
Some people believe in forever wars.
Yeah, I know, especially in hip hop. But look, if Nas and Jay-Z can move on, anybody can, right?
I believe so. I think so. But I think even if Drake and Kendrick were to move past it, not even say they get peaceful and buddy, say they move past it, there's still 100 other people behind Drake who he feels like stabbed him in the back, like your Rosses, like your ASAPs, like your Weeknd, like your what's his name, DeMar DeRozan. You calling out NBA players on the album, bro?
Yeah,
and podcasters and Joe Buttons, and so yeah, it's cool. up for Drake, I guess.
And also the fans.
The
I
fans.
mean, the fans, they're not letting it go.
Oh, no.
I think Drake and Kendrick Lamar could, like, hug and do a whole track together, and the fans still won't let it go.
Even Drake even gave Farrakhan a shout out on the album, man. He said, we ain't gonna piece it up. I'm gonna sit with Farrakhan. We're not gonna piece up this beef. So, yeah.
Well, you never know what might happen if you go sit with Farrakhan.
Right.
800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. It doesn't have to be about Drake. All callers welcome. We are not going to have a lot of space like this between now and the election. So whether it's a city measure or the governor or the treasurer, whatever we're trying to figure out, now's a great time to do it. Offering caller amnesty, but you can't be long-winded. Short-winded caller amnesty. And real Justin Ray Alanea. See, they're not letting it go. He says, Team Kendrick all day, every day. No love, Drake. Yeah. And that's how I think that is going to go for quite some time. And maybe, like you said, a forever war. But we can keep hope alive. 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. I'm Dominique DePrima, and this is KBLA Talk 1580.
The station you turn to when you've had it up to gear with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580.
Are you drowning in IRS tax debt? Angela was. She called Civic Tax Relief and saved over $80,000. Felicia was having health problems, got behind on her taxes, interest and penalties were adding up. She called Civic Tax Relief and saved over $15,000. Civic Tax Relief is a professional tax negotiation firm that can protect you from the IRS. If you're getting collection letters, call Civic Tax Relief for a free consultation. They will go to work helping you discover all the relief programs you may qualify for free. James owed the IRS $37,000. Civic Tax Relief represented him against the IRS, and by the time everything was completed, he did not owe the IRS anything. If you are in trouble with the IRS, call Civic Tax Relief for your free consultation now. 800-200-2257. 800-200-2257. Get a free consultation and real tax relief. Call 800-200-2257. 800-200-2257.
The joint will be jumping. Ebony Repertory Theater, in association with Fig Street Films, brings you one of the most beloved musicals of all time. Tony Award winner, Ain't Misbehavin'. The soulful, swinging celebration of the music of Fats Waller. From the rollicking to the romantic, this show is pure magic, full of the songs that defined an era and the voices that'll make you forget everything else for a night. Foot-stomping, heart-stirring, unforgettable. Don't miss Ain't Misbehavin' at the Nate Holden Performing Arts Center, starring Lettucey, directed by Ren T. Brown. This is the night out you've been waiting for. Tickets are going fast, so don't wait. Grab yours now at ebonyrep.org or call the box office today at 323-964-9766. Ebony Repertory Theater, bringing the culture, keeping the legacy alive.
Ain't Misbehavin' runs May 21st through June 8th at the Nate Holden Performing Arts Center. Get your tickets now.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey, well, yeah, hey, all right, look, listen up, it's about to be smoke. Ain't nothing but some I wrote about a rich that's deep in the game. They call me Drizzy Drake and I'm keeping the name. I sport Nike shoes, I got a mic to use to talk bad about you. I don't like you fools. Got an Oakland show tonight, baby. My young boys from the yacht going crazy. I'm on a bridge with a tank unleaded. I pull up early to that was yanking already. I said yang in the city and I really got rank. You see the backpack to the front, you getting spanked. I really blow hams for the fun of it. New owl, blue diamonds on the front of it. Shot my little cousin, missed having none of it. Trying to campaign, yeah, Drizzy bad running. Raw, living large, yeah. And I put it on Cedars and a Boulevard. When I lost Big Naughty, I took it hard. Need to call up a start for some chrome hearts. You my new girl, you gotta look the part. Hey, it's Mr. Make a pipe down, there you go. Yeah, it's Mr. Pop Star, that's the way it go. Now I'm too hard for the radio.
KBLA Talk 1580. Yeah, that one was getting a lot of chatter online because they're saying it's supposed to be a riff on Mac Dre or something. Too Hard or something. That's Drake. That's from Iceman, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Any comments on that, Miles?
I think what are all the hate gonna say and do when that song right there goes #1 on the charts and it's playing all over LA radio and all over Bay Area radio? You know what I mean? Like, and that's the thing about Drake is that it gets to a point where the presence gets undeniable. So, you know, you can feel how you feel, but the presence and the club and the festivals and the mall and your girlfriend's Instagram, you know what I mean? Like, it's going to be
That's so funny because long ago before this beef, I had a man tell me, do you like Drake? And I said, yeah. I hate Drake. It was like a test for women. It was like one of those, dating questions. If you like Drake, you're out.
Look, pretty girls like Drake. I'm not going to lie. So it is what it is. So they're going to have the captions.
It is what it is. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm going to be Team West Coast always. I know I was born in New York, but I was raised in California. Yeah. I'm a California love all day, every day. But you're right. When Drake comes on in the gym or in the club or in the mall, it tends to be like, okay. So we shall see. All right. Back to this ballot. Unless y'all want to call me and distract me, I welcome you. I challenge you. In fact, I dare you. 800-920-1580. 800-920-1580. I'm looking at the Courage California voter guide because they're a progressive organization. And it's CourageCalifornia.org, /voter guide. And I never go off any one person's voter guide or one organization, but this is a good one to start because they are generally quite progressive. And to Sharice's point, they are endorsing Michael Tubbs for lieutenant governor. And they are going with Tom Steyer for governor. Now, I've been back and forth about this, and I haven't made up my mind. And as I've said, I won't tell you, although there will be signs. But when I talked to Governor Willie Brown, not governor, he would have been a good governor, Speaker Willie Brown, and he said that he looks at people in terms of whether or not he would hire them. He said out of all the gubernatorial candidates, Steyer's the only one he would hire for his own company. And he pointed out that we should look at what people get done, not just in office, but what they get done in their advocacy life. And he pointed out that Tom Steyer has successfully championed several initiatives. So Mayor Brown, has also endorsed Steyer, as have Isaac Bryan and a number of other black progressives. Right now, Becerra seems to be the front runner. I haven't made a decision. I think a lot of Dems haven't. There's still plenty of other people to consider. There's Villaraigosa, there's Porter. Jasmine Canick seems to think Villaraigosa is surging following the debate before last. One of the other reasons that I wanted to look here, Courage California is giving us no recommendation for state treasurer or insurance commissioner, which really surprised me. We also have under state superintendent of public instruction, Nichelle Henderson and Richard Barrera, which is a dual endorsement. I don't tend to love those because for me, dual endorsement is like no endorsement because it leaves me with eeny, meeny, miny, mo. But I feel like there is some coalescing among progressives when it comes to the superintendent of schools. I've looked at several different progressive voter guides, including the LA Progressive. They also have a voter guide. And it looks like folks are coalescing around Nichelle. And I haven't done a deep dive here. I've just done the guides. And of course, Tony Thurman is currently in that position, but he's running for governor, so he will not be back. And there's a bunch of people, including Anthony Rendon, who was a former state lawmaker, and Speaker. And you have, this is a nonpartisan race, so we don't have the benefit of even knowing whether they are Republicans or Democrats, other than by looking at their endorsements. Nichelle Henderson is a college trustee and a teacher. And again, it's a very crowded field. We've got I think it's like 14, 15 people running for superintendent of public instruction. But I want to start talking about some of these races that we pay less attention to. Let's go to Karl calling us from LA. Good morning, Karl.
Hey, good morning, Dominique. How you doing?
I'm blessed. What's on your mind?
Okay, hey, yeah, I'm waiting on Shakira and Madonna at the soccer game. They're going to do some halftime as soon as this FIBA soccer thing starts. But, yeah, I'm waiting for one of them two. I'm going to see how they
It's World Cup
perform.
season for sure, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to see how they doing it in their, I think Madonna's in her 50s. And,
no,
Shakira
I think Madonna's in her 60s.
60s? Oh, my goodness. She still got some legs on her.
She's just a fit 60-something. Well, yeah, look at Angela Bassett. Today's 60 isn't yesterday's 60.
Yeah, I know it. Hey, what's your take on this Mayor Bassett's budget? It's supposed to pass this month, next month. They're supposed to vote on it, city council. I see some things in there, $14 million for dog house, the animal shelter. I mean, they just built a brand new one, so I guess that money's going there.
I won't call it, you can't call it a dog house. I mean, we have to humanely deal with the animals. And when people get poor like they are right now, because everything's expensive, thank you, Donald Trump, they tend to dump their pets. And so gathering our animal services is actually really important, and it's been a whole mess. Mayor Bass's budget is a work in progress. You know how I feel. I wish she would allocate less money for policing and more money for youth, development, for mental health. She is between a bit of a rock and a hard place because we're broke. LA's broke, and we've got a non-cooperative Washington, D.C., but it's in the negotiation phase right now.
Yeah, I can see that. Hey, 47, he's asking for help from Russia and China. I mean, that's a terrible thing for a president to be begging.
Yes, it is, especially a rich president who feels he can spend millions and millions of dollars. $1 billion for a ballroom? Now we're up to $1 billion for the ballroom. He's spending millions. Apparently he gave his pool guy the contract to revamp the reflecting pool at the Capitol and paint it blue underneath. Why is that costing several millions? It seems like it should cost thousands. So while he's over here begging for help from others, he is squandering our money.
Yeah, ain't that the truth? Talk to you later, Dominique. I got to get out the door.
Okay, Karl. Thank you for your call. I'm going to go back to this Courage, California, because we're going to use some of these to get a bearing on some of the less popular races. As I've said, they're going with Steyer and Tubbs. They're going with Tubbs for lieutenant governor. That tracks with what Charisse Cryer was saying and what other progressives have been saying, even though several people are going, once again, sometimes you have people going with someone they view as a more progressive candidate. We're seeing that with the LA mayor's race. You've got some black progressives who are going with Reverend Ray Wong, because she is progressive in the issues. She's never held public office, though, and she's a long shot to win. So you have to ask yourself, is this the time for a protest vote? My answer to that is no, but you have to make your own mind up. And I think that if we end up with a Mayor Spencer Pratt, which is highly unlikely but could happen, I'm going to be mad at you. I can say that. I'm going to be mad at you because I don't think that we got a lot to deal with. We're dealing with Washington. We're dealing with rebuilding the Palisades. We have got houselessness, on the move. What we don't need is someone who has no idea what they're doing and terrible conservative ideas. I think that would not be helpful at this point in time. 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. That's the number if you want to tap in, call in. I'd love to hear from you. I'm Dominique DePrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
I'm Esther Dillard with BIN News Now. House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries is blasting President Trump after the president told reporters he's not thinking about Americans' finances, quote, even a little bit, during Iran nuclear negotiations. Trump said preventing Iran from getting a nuclear weapon is his only focus. Jeffries had a sharp response.
Because Donald Trump and Republicans don't give a damn about the personal finances of the American people. Donald Trump said it, and he meant it.
Trump's comments come as pain at the pump continues. Meanwhile, Maryland Governor Wes Moore tells Politico the state must act to redraw its congressional map, warning of a serious threat to black voter representation. And Detroit's population is growing for a third straight year. The Census Bureau says the city is up nearly 1%, driven by new housing development. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Join in for Alex Vesia Bobblehead Night, Friday, May 29th versus the Phillies. The first 40,000 fans get to take home an exclusive Alex Vesia bobblehead, presented by Starlux Airlines. For tickets and more information, visit Dodgers.com/promotion.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The NFL schedule is out for the 2026 season. First regular season game is on Wednesday night, September 9th, New England at Seattle. This is the first time in the NFL's 107-year history that the league has scheduled a game on a Wednesday. The Rams will play their regular season opener in Melbourne, Australia, Thursday night, September 10th against San Francisco. The Chargers open the season at SoFi Stadium Sunday afternoon, September 13th against Arizona. The Rams, a strong contender again to make it to the Super Bowl, will be featured in 7 primetime games. The Rams have home games against Dallas, Seattle, Kansas City, Green Bay, Buffalo, and the New York Giants. The Chargers' home schedule includes the Rams, the Raiders, New England, Houston, Denver, Kansas City, San Francisco, and the New York Jets. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Let me tell you something about Los Angeles. This city doesn't have small problems, so it damn sure doesn't need small, weak leadership. That's why I support Karen Bass. She walked into a system that was slow, broken, and reluctant to change. She cut through red tape and started moving people off the streets into housing. She created the Office of Community Safety to make our neighborhoods safer, supported wage increases for many underpaid workers, expanded contract opportunities for small minority business, and signed an executive order to give formerly incarcerated people a second chance. Karen Bass is about real change. I'm Samuel L. Jackson, and I've seen a lot of people talk tough. Karen Bass is tough. That's why I'm voting for Karen Bass, and you should too. So vote today. You received your ballot in the mail by now. You don't even have to go to the polls. Just fill out your ballot and hand it to your postal worker. No stamp needed.
Paid for by Re-elect Karen Bass for Mayor 2026, 445 South Figueroa Street, Suite 2400, Los Angeles, California, 90071. Funding details at ethics.lacity.gov.
My name is Cynthia Mitchell. I've been an emergency room nurse in Los Angeles County for 25 years. I've been there through every fire season, every outbreak, every earthquake. Every time Los Angeles needed us, the doctors and nurses of Los Angeles County showed up. And right now, I'm seeing another disaster coming. Trump's cuts to Los Angeles County's healthcare system are a public health crisis in the making. Medi-Cal, public hospitals, disaster preparedness are all at risk. But we can stop it. Measure ER fights back against these cuts. For a half a penny, we keep emergency rooms open, care within reach for working families, and doctors and nurses serving the communities we love. When you vote yes on Measure ER, you're not just voting for health care, you're voting for LA. Vote yes on Measure ER by June 2nd.
Ad paid for by Yes on ER, Restore Healthcare for Angelinos, sponsored by St. John's Community Health and Health Justice Action Fund. Ad committee top funder, St. John's Community Health.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, host of The Voice of Reason, weeknights at 7 p.m. here on KBLA Talk 1580, with a personal invitation for you to join me and Insight.me as we present The Healing Box, live at Inglewood's world-famous Miracle Theater, Saturday evening, May 23rd at 7 p.m. Look, I understand. Your attachment style has been running your life like a rogue algorithm, and nobody has had the courage to press pause. Until now, Dr. Pakoya McCall and yours truly are curating a night where clinicians, spiritualists, and an all-star panel of Black woman healers like Dr. Shalonda Sunshine Crawford, Dr. Jashana Johnson, and spiritualist Precious McGill will join some amazing spoken word artists and the legendary comedian Louis Dix to diagnose, disrupt, and heal your relational wreckage in real time. Listen, bring your trauma. As a matter of fact, bring your baby mama. No, bring your testimony. And if you're still texting your ex at 2 a.m., baby, you're not just invited, you're the target demo. Tickets are moving fast, so grab yours at themiracleinglewood.com before your dating history gets flagged as a pre-existing condition. That's themiracleinglewood.com. We'll see you there Saturday, May 23rd at 7 p.m.
Heard any other talk radio lately that sounds anything like this? We didn't think so. You're listening to Unapologetically Progressive, KBLA Talk 1580.
So the LA Times New York Times Deal Book has a really interesting article about how certain CEOs are backing this guy, Spencer Pratt, for the reality show star who's running for mayor. And I think it's telling. We know Jeannie Buss, the governor of the LA Lakers. It's enough to make me want to be a Clipper fan. But anyway, she's backing, but she's not the only one. Dan Loeb, who's a financier, Bobby Kotick, former CEO of Activision Blizzard, cryptocurrency entrepreneurs Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss, Haim Saban, the entertainment mogul, and his wife, Cheryl Saban, of course, Jeffrey Sprecher of Intercontinental Exchange, Lucian Grange, CEO of Universal Music, and his son, who's the CEO of Atlantic Records, and Jamie Siminoff, the founder of The Ring, the home security division at Amazon. In other words, the national unofficial surveillance, citizen surveillance network is backing this guy, Pratt. Mark Pincus, the founder of the mobile game company Zynga, Sean Rad of Tinder. Swipe your way to a conservative, unqualified mayor. And then Val Blavatnik, who's the director of Warner Music Group, and the son of billionaire Len Blavatnik. So these are all the people. And it just makes me think, will these billionaires never learn? I'm reading how many of these folks are regretting the votes that they made for the current occupant of the White House. But now you're getting ready to do it again. Anyway, I digress. We need to focus on things we know less about, like State Board of Equalization. The Courage California is endorsing Nelson Esparza. Interesting, though, I forgot Mike Gibson is running for that. Mike Gibson, of course, was in the assembly. He's a black man, and Jazz Mechanic is going with Mike Gibson as State Board of Equalization. State Board of Equalization is one of those ones that many times we do skip past, but I think it's important that we land on someone. And this is one of those seats where I see a number of people lining up for Gibson, and a number of folks in progressive and in black spaces, a number of folks lining up for Nelson Esparza. Gibson has been a solid lawmaker. He is, I would call him a liberal. He's not a progressive. He's a former police officer. Nelson Esparza, I know much less about, but I do see that he is being endorsed by a number of black and progressive organizations. And I think we're seeing the same thing with treasurer and insurance commissioner, where these endorsements are all over the place. Jasmine Canick is endorsed Stephen Bradford as insurance commissioner, no surprise there. But at state treasurer, she's gone with Eleni Kolinakis. And Kolinakis is a Dem, but that's a little bit more controversial. Courage California is not even giving an endorsement here, and nor has the LA Progressive, from what I can see. So we're going to have to keep working this one out. But I'm going to keep sharing these various takes from different outlets, because I think this is part of what helps us figure it all out. Let's go to Dwight calling us from the city of Compton. Good morning, Dwight.
Good morning, Dominique. I just want to say thank you so much for helping us fill out our sample ballots so we have ideas, and giving us different people on your show to kind of give us different opinions on things. And this Pratt vote, this is anger. Mayor Bass was out of the country for President Biden. She had nothing to do with the fire. She had nothing to do with the water being out of the hydrants. That's something that other people were supposed to be handling. And so they can't blame Mayor Bass for global warming, which Republicans are technically the cause of anyway. You know, you want to go back. They told us cigarettes weren't bad for us. They told us, a lot of lies. So, first of all, I go through my ballot, and it would be easier if they did have Democrat or Republican, because I know who to cross out automatically from the gate, because I am voting for no Republicans, and I don't think I ever have voted for a Republican since I've been voting since and when I was a little kid, Kennedy was running against Nixon, and the little kids had a little saying, Kennedy, all man, Nixon, garbage can. So we were political as little kids in school, and we barely knew what we were talking about.
That's hilarious.
Go
ahead.
Yeah, but Dominique, thank you so much. And the judges, I'm looking forward for the judges, because in the past, like you said, we didn't know what the heck we were doing for judges, and some of them are running against a write-in candidate that I guess they have nobody running against them. So
yeah, some of them have no one running against them. We were talking about that yesterday. How does that happen? It sounds like it happens through a little bit of insider information and favoritism that maybe could be fixed in the system. But like I said, Attorney Carrie Harper will be with us on Tuesday. We'll go through all the judges, and the interviews are there. You can find them. A lot of them have already been done. There's a few still coming up, but you can find them on YouTube. You can find them wherever you get your podcasts. We have interviewed a lot of judges, judge candidates. I love it
because it's so important for us to vote, because we see what happened, and I'm leaning toward Spryer, because even though he's a billionaire, I know we can't paint everybody with a broad brush and say all billionaires are bad, but he seemed to have been helping the community with other people from years past. So he has like a little track record, and I see a lot of people are endorsing him. And like you said, Willie Brown endorsed him, so that's a good indication for me. And Dominique, I just basically want to say thank you. Shout out. Hope you get well. Sherry, I don't know if she's still sick or not, but I know she didn't make.
No, she's good. No, she's good. She's good. Yeah, I just talked to her yesterday. Okay. She's good. She's
okay. Tell her we were praying for her to stay healthy, because she does a lot for the community too.
She
and
does.
Thank you, Miles, Tavis, everybody there at KBLA for just helping us through this hard times, Dominique. Thank you so much, and have a great weekend.
All right, and you as well. We always appreciate you. And let me make a correction. I said that the LA Progressive did not give a recommendation for Board of Equalization, but in fact they have. They are endorsing Samuel Sukatan. They say that, and it's great the way they break it down, that the California State Board of Equalization oversees the property tax system, as well as alcohol beverage tax and tax on insurers. It's a 5-member board. They each serve 4-year terms, and there's 4 different equalization districts. So the front runner apparently is Mike Gibson. He's got a lot. He's raised almost $200,000 in this race. They claim it's from oil and gas companies. I haven't verified that. He is a black man. He's a known quantity. But they say there's a progressive alternative, Sam Sukatan. He's a California Working Party's endorsed candidate. And he is an organizer for AFT Local 1521, which is the Community College Faculty Union. He was director of Bernie Sanders' 2020 campaign in the Inland Empire. And so they are endorsing him for that seat. Samuel Sukatan for Board of Equalization. Let's go to Fred calling us from L.A. Good morning, Fred.
Hello, Dominique. Let me take you back to the White House ballroom floor. Now, last time we talked, you said if Trump did it with his own $283 million of donators, it would be cause political influence. It's unlikely that it would be finished before he's out of office. And number two,
excuse me, I'm going to let you finish, but that's a really not good point, because if somebody gives me $1 million, I don't have to wait till I spend it to know I owe them a favor.
Okay, you made your point. Okay, now, even if it's finished, but since he tore down the old one, isn't he civilly liable to replace it with something? I don't see anything.
Yeah, but does it have to be a $1 billion ballroom waste of money that dwarfs the White House and scoffs at the historical preservation of that important space in American history? It's and now it's no longer privately paid for. He's got a few donors, but he's asking you and me. They've got $1 billion in the budget for us to pay for the ballroom. So that was a lie. Your understanding is that's because you're believing what the president says rather than what the budget says.
That $1 billion is supposed to be for security, and we don't know for how long. And obviously, we need security. So let's take it to the next level.
We need a security ballroom. I call BS.
Well, now that we got a DEI assassin, I really think that's neat. And
who's the DEI assassin?
The latest one that tried to kill him. He's not white.
Do you think that you believe in those? Because most Americans think those are staged.
Do I think it was staged?
Yeah.
No. And I also think you've been down on Torrance, where he lives in a $2 million house in a $3 million neighborhood.
What are we talking about now? Oh, you're talking about the guy, the alleged shooter, right? Got it.
Right.
So why is that bad? I just say I'm down on Torrance because it's a sundown town, not because they don't have nice neighborhoods. I'm down on Torrance because of Christopher DeAndre Mitchell, not because it's not beautiful.
But they do let colored people live there. We see that. Okay, the last point, since I last talked, the United States Supreme Court declared everybody's vote equal. Seems to me we got a situation.
Ooh, you're so delusional, Fred. It's really hard to everybody's vote equal, and by that you mean erasing all the black voter impact in Louisiana and most southern states. That's what you call equal. Equal voting means that we no longer have majority black. We no longer have majority black districts. Equal voting means erasing black representation in Congress. That means everybody's vote is equal now to you. Make it make sense.
What you want?
It really sounds like you're talking to me from the sunken place.
Yeah, okay, well, what you're saying is you take a woman that's been on welfare for years, she went to school, now she's an RN, and all of a sudden now she don't want to pay back her student loan, but she makes $150,000 a year. That's what
Boy, does that sound like something straight off of a Trump pamphlet. But okay, so got it. Thank you for your call. I got your point. You're happy that the Supreme Court, Extreme Court, erased the Voting Rights Act. you think that somehow the fact that the alleged assassin attempter is black and from Torrance means that Torrance is not racist, and I can't even remember that far back because it's making my head hurt. But points taken, and it's very consistent. So, yeah, thank you for calling, and have a lovely weekend. You know what? I'm at a loss for words because even from Fred, who is a purveyor of MAGA talking points, even though he's an independent, declined to state, no party preference voter, even from him, I would not have expected a celebration from a black person of the end of the Voting Rights Act. That is next level. That is next level sunken place. Fred called me at 800-920-1580. I invite you to do the same, 800-920-1580. I'm Dominique DePrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
Let's be real. For too long, too many of our students have sat in overcrowded classrooms in underfunded public schools.
But as head of the San Diego School Board, Richard Barrera changed that.
Under Barrera's leadership, student literacy rose from the state average all the way to #1 among major urban school districts. Barrera led the way for smaller classrooms and for teachers to be paid what they're worth.
Barrera funded more counselors and mental health services, and community schools that teach real-world skills for future jobs.
A community organizer who became an education leader to fight for our kids. The only candidate for State Superintendent of Public Instruction,
Backed by the 310,000 classroom educators of the California Teachers Association. Vote Democrat Richard Barrera for State Superintendent.
Ad paid for by California Teachers Association Independent Expenditure Committee, not authorized by a candidate or committee controlled by a candidate.
What if your rooftop could earn you money every year? With LADWP's Solar Rooftops program, you can get solar panels installed and maintained on your home at no cost and earn up to $900 a year. That's up to $18,000 over 20 years. There are no upfront costs, no credit checks, and no annual fees. Plus, you'll help power Los Angeles with clean local solar energy and reduce reliance on fossil fuels. Make your rooftop work for you. Apply today at ladwp.com/solar rooftops.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
ZipRecruiter. The conversation continues right now with Dominique DePrima on First Things First.
So again, when you're going through your sample ballot, it is pretty long, especially when it comes to 1,000,001 people running for governor and a couple of other offices that have a lot of folks running. So one of the ways that you can sort of sift through the different opinions, aside from going, obviously, to our YouTube at KBLA 1580 or going wherever you get your podcasts and listening for yourself what some of these candidates have to say. Another way that I like to do it is to go through various voter guides. Of course, you can go to LACDP, which is the LA County Democratic Party, or whatever county you're in. Go to the Democratic Party, and you can go to the Republican Party website. I always find that very helpful. I want to see what the Republicans are advocating, what the Dems are advocating, and then I can read between the lines and use my own common sense to take it from there. I do like the LA Progressive. LA Progressive, if you go to laprogressive.com, they have a voter guide. And, you know, I'm not going to necessarily vote down the line with any voter guide, but it gives you a sense of where folks are, and also you get to see their analysis, how they got to where they are. A LA Progressive is going with Tom Steyer for governor, same as Courage California. And they are also going with Michael Tubbs, same as Courage California. So we start to see some agreement on among progressive websites. Doesn't mean that you have to go that way, but certainly it's informative. Same with Malia Cohen, the controller, state controller, a black woman here, who is being endorsed by both of those voter guides. You can also look at the LA Times. They don't. Their editorial board does recommendations, but they also have a guide that merely gives you information on candidates on both sides. I like Ballotpedia. Ballotpedia tends to give you have to go office by office, but they tend to give you information. Has this person run before? What have they voted for? Who's backing them? I find that incredibly helpful. Of note here, Courage California has no recommendation for insurance commissioner. I was surprised by that because I would think that, with Bradford's record, they might lean his way with his record on reparations and other progressive issues. On the other hand, there are a number of folks, including LA Forward, that are supporting insurance commissioner candidate Jane Kim. She is seen by some to be more progressive. They say that she is a champion for progressive policies and innovative ideas. They're recommending her. She was on the San Francisco Board of Supervisors, and she is the California director of the Working Families Party, which tends to be quite progressive. So again, I'm going to say compare and contrast, and then you're going to have to walk away with your own ideas here. My friend Jasmine Koenig, Jasmine, I am Jasmine with a Y. She has her voter guide on her website. It's also on her Instagram. I like to look at the various candidates. I typically look at Congresswoman Maxine Waters, see what she's recommending. I'll look at Congresswoman Kamlager, that's my congresswoman. I'll see what she's recommending. Not because I'm going to do every single thing that they say, but I like to see where are the areas of agreement and where are the areas of disagreement. And particularly when it comes to the governor's race and those lesser known areas like judges, like State Board of Equalization, treasurer, controller, assessor, county assessor. These are places where we often do not put much of our attention. And when it comes time to vote, it's deer in the headlights. And I just don't want that for us. And so, let's make sure we have it together before we vote. We do have a different environment right now, so I would suggest that if you have another option, use a county drop box or drop your ballot at a polling place. Any polling place will do, or put them in the county drop boxes. I'd rather not have my ballot in federal custody at this point. But if you are going to use the U.S. Post Office, give yourself enough time, because the Trump administration has already said that they will not count ballots that arrive after Election Day, and we don't know what shenanigans they will be doing to slow down the vote. Of course, if you have no other option than the post office, just give yourself plenty of time. The Best of Tavis Smiley is up right now. And as I've said, he's interviewed a couple of the gubernatorial candidates, so you can check for that on our YouTube. You can check wherever you get your pods. I have talked to many of the judicial candidates, mayoral candidates, and others. So check out my podcast as well. You can find them wherever you get your pods, or you could find them at KBLA 1580 on YouTube. The best of Tavis Smiley, highlights from the week that was, are coming up. Tap in with me on social media all weekend long. I'm at Diprima Radio, DIPRIMA, and then radio on all platforms, even YouTube. Please like, follow, subscribe, and let's talk. Like my papa, the late, great Amiri Baraka, used to say, a person is either free or they are not free. There can be no apprenticeship for freedom. Until next time, my beloved KBLA delegation, one love.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Esther Dillard with BIN News Now. House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries is blasting President Trump after the president told reporters he's not thinking about Americans' finances, quote, even a little bit, during Iran nuclear negotiations. Trump said preventing Iran from getting a nuclear weapon is his only focus. Jeffries had a sharp response.
Because Donald Trump and Republicans don't give a damn about the personal finances of the American people. Donald Trump said it, and he meant it.
Trump's comments come as pain at the pump continues. Meanwhile, Maryland Governor Wes Moore tells Politico the state must act to redraw its congressional map, warning of a serious threat to black voter representation. And Detroit's population is growing for a third straight year. The Census Bureau says the city is up nearly 1%, driven by new housing development. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Join in for Alex Vesia bobblehead night Friday, May 29th versus the Phillies. The first 40,000 fans get to take home an exclusive Alex Vesia bobblehead presented by Starlux Airlines. For tickets and more information, visit Dodgers.com/promotion.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The NFL schedule is out for the 2026 season. First regular season game is on Wednesday night, September 9th, New England at Seattle. This is the first time in the NFL's 107-year history that the league has scheduled a game on a Wednesday. The Rams will play their regular season opener in Melbourne, Australia, Thursday night, September 10th against San Francisco. The Chargers open the season at SoFi Stadium Sunday afternoon, September 13th against Arizona. The Rams, a strong contender again to make it to the Super Bowl, will be featured in 7 primetime games. The Rams have home games against Dallas, Seattle, Kansas City, Green Bay, Buffalo, and the New York Giants. The Chargers' home schedule includes the Rams, the Raiders, New England, Houston, Denver, Kansas City, San Francisco, and the New York Jets. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
You have something to say, and we want to hear it. KBLA Talk 1580 is engagement radio, not outrage radio. A place where your hopes, your frustrations, and your ideas are welcome 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Real talk, real people, real Los Angeles. KBLA Talk 1580, the station that sounds like